Each week on this video, we'll give you sneaky waiver wire ads you can pick up and add to your roster. This week, heading into week 12, I'm Alan Seslowsky of RotoWire.com along with Jeff Erickson. And save or bookmark this video for when you make your waiver wire pickups this week. Jeff, who's going to be your first sneaky ad?
Going to give a shout out to the 10-team leaguers and all that out there. Going to go with Seattle running back situation, Zach Charbonnet. Ken Walker left with an oblique injury early in the loss to the Rams. And in that, keep in mind that the Rams play on Thanksgiving against the Niners. So it's a very short turnaround. I think it's probably unlikely that Walker is going to be able to return in time. So go ahead and recommend Zach Charbonnet. 44% rostered in Yahoo leagues, but I'm assuming those are 12-team leagues. I am in a 10-teamer myself, and he was available. I checked.
Tutu Atwell, the wide receiver on the Los Angeles Rams, only saw 3 targets, 1 reception, and only 17 yards. What's sneaky about Tiny Tutu is that Cooper Kupp left the game. And if he does miss any times, I'm thinking back to the first 3 weeks of the season when Tutu averaged 9 targets and over 17 fantasy points per game. The Rams go into Arizona in week 12, and they'll need to find creative ways to move the football up and down the field. We know Puka Nacua is going to be heavily targeted, and Kyren Williams, the running back, is supposedly coming back, Jeff, but Tiny Tutu Atwell will be a cheap or free option on the week 12 waiver wire, and I would start him without hesitation heading into the week.
Isaiah Likely, with Mark Andrews out for the season. This is probably the obvious pickup of the week, right? I don't know if he can come close to matching Mark Andrews' value, but at the same time, we know he's the next man up. If you need a tight end, well, if you lost Mark Andrews, you're going to go pick up Isaiah Likely. And he's probably a viable DFS play this week as well.
We featured Arizona wide receiver Rondale Moore on Sneaky Ads last week. Rondale Moore of the Arizona Cardinals saw 8 targets and had 5 receptions for 43 yards due to his 8 targets in week 10. I was victory lapping Jeff shortly after kickoff when Kyler Murray fired that 48-yard touchdown to Rondale Moore to open the game, but Moore was not targeted after that, which puts him back into sneaky territory. And as a refresher, Rondale Moore last year, with the 6-game sample with Kyler Murray, averaged over 7 targets and 50 yards. So I'm picking him up and playing him in week 12 against the Rams. Who's your third sneaky ad?
Jalen Tolbert. He is eminently available, but he's had 5 targets each of the last 3 weeks, and the Cowboys get to host the Commanders on Thanksgiving. When we last saw the Commanders, they're busy emulating a turnstile for Tommy DeVito. Who is Tommy DeVito? And maybe costing Ron Rivera his job. This is a awful secondary. This game could be in blowout territory, which means Tolbert gets more snaps, more targets. Jalen Tolbert, this is a desperation play. You're playing in a mega deep league.
RotoWire's own Joe Bartle had been touting Packers wide receiver Dontayvion Wicks since the preseason. So Wicks broke out in week 11, 5 targets, 3 receptions, 91 yards. Wicks is only playing about a third of the snaps right now, so he's a tough player to start, but we would sneak him on to our rosters as the Packers look like they had a little bit of life this week, and every season, rookie wide receivers seem to break out in the second half of the year, especially ones that we don't expect. Wicks fits that bill. He won't cost you any fab, and you won't be able to play him this week, but in week 13, if he has another good game, I might take a shot and put him in my lineup. And since you watched this video to the end, we have 1 bonus sneaky ad.
I have 2. Every time I think I am out, they pull me back in with Roshan Johnson. We saw Khalil Herbert came back to action, looked okay against the Lions. Now, the Lions have a habit of making a lot of running backs not look so great. Deonta Foreman also injured his ankle in this game. So Johnson moves up a chair and might be the guy that gets involved a lot, a little bit of a change of pace for Herbert. They get at Minnesota this week, then they're on bye, and then they get another home game against the Lions in week 14. So the Dolphins play on a short week this week. But Salvon Ahmed is clearly the number 2 guy. Jeff Wilson was a healthy scratch. So it's definitely Ahmed over Wilson. And so if you're looking for a desperation play, Salvon Ahmed, still there, 2% rostered.
All right. If you enjoy videos like this, consider hitting the like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to find out when RotoWire puts up new video content every single day. And right now, you can get behind RotoWire's paywall for free. Just go to rotowire.com/try, put in your email, and the paywall unlocks.